Mr. Speaker, I'm sure I speak for many members when I thank you and the whole of the Speaker's office for the work you have put in to make this past week of remembrance so memorable. The Gardens of Remembrance, the projection of images from the Second World War onto the Elizabeth Tower, the wreath laying in Westminster Hall, and much else, all these things, I know, took a huge amount of organisation, coordination and hard work. So thank you to you and your office. I'd also draw the attention of colleagues to the launch of the project to build the remembrance clock at the National Arboretum, and I hope that they in turn will dig deep to support that. Mr. Speaker, in the spirit of exchanging news stories that the Leader and I have developed over the past 2 or 3 weeks, let me give you a raft, if I may, of intriguing items. 9 former 4-star generals have condemned the government's treatment of veterans on Remembrance Day. 1 million more people are now claiming universal credit than a year ago without any need to have to look for a job. The Chancellor gave an unexpected early press conference, apparently to prepare people for major tax rises, and the Prime Minister has acknowledged yesterday the rise in national insurance. Junior doctors have announced a 5-day strike starting tomorrow in pursuit of a 26% pay rise, on top of the woefully inadequate, as they would see it, 29% received last year. Number 10, Downing Street, has insisted that the Prime Minister has full confidence in Morgan McSweeney and that he, or perhaps it's Mr McSweeney, will still be Prime Minister at the next election. Mr. Speaker, it's rightly been said that our country has moved from being post-war to being pre-war. In recent weeks, we've seen a marked escalation of the conflict in Ukraine. Russian forces have made gains in and around the city of Pokrovsk, threatening to cut transport routes and displace thousands more civilians. Missile and drone attacks on energy and transport infrastructure have intensified, with serious consequences for Ukraine's ability to sustain its economy through the winter. These developments follow reports of a significant increase in Russian arms production and continued circumvention of sanctions through covert oil and gas shipments. At the same time, international aid flows have slowed and Ukrainian forces are facing actual or potential shortages of money, ammunition and equipment. All this, I would suggest, underlines the need for Parliament to take stock. 3 years into the conflict, the nature of the war is shifting and now demands renewed strategic coordination among Ukraine's allies. In this context, I'd like to ask the Leader to commit to keeping back December 4th for the backbench debate on Ukraine requested by my brilliant Right Honourable colleague, the member for Harwich, where is he, over there, and North Essex, and agreed by the Backbench Business Committee. By my calculation, we have not had a general debate on Ukraine on the floor of the House since February of this year, and not on a substantial motion since 2023. This debate would allow the House to review the current worrying state of military preparedness and the humanitarian situation, the position on frozen Russian financial assets held in Europe, the status of occupied territories which Russia claims quite wrongly for itself, the government's approach to long-range defensive support and sanctions enforcement. It would allow us to examine the diplomatic context. It would allow us to test government policy and cross-departmental coordination, and to bring the very diverse range of expertise and knowledge across this House to bear on a crucial issue facing the entire continent of Europe. And above all, it would allow this House of Commons as an institution to brief itself in full and demonstrate that strong sense of unity that exists in this country on the vital defence of our sovereign ally, Ukraine. The House has been steadfast in its support for Ukraine, and rightly so, but as the conflict evolves, we must ensure our response evolves with it. Now, it is possible that the Leader's genius for prognostication and intelligence gathering may have already caused him to form a supportive view of this request, but if not, I ask very much that he have the government make time for this timely and important debate on December 4th.
Leader.